Hi, I'm Anna from Astralladytarot in Amsterdam. It's the 1st of May. Happy Beltane. It was raining all night, so I slept great. And it was raining all morning. That's when I went out and walked my dog. And now all of a sudden sunshine. So it kind of does look like the 1st of May. Lucky us. Today I am finally opening a second essential deck this year. I opened the Elemental Tarot at ahem. I was lucky to find that one that has been on my wish list for a long time. And now I have a second one, a really strange one. And I don't think very many people will actually understand why I'm so drawn to this deck. I don't really know myself. This is really a wish list year. As I said in the ahem video, I'm trying to get only 4 decks. And, you know, it's 1st of May and I'm right on schedule, if you don't count the Thoth decks that I bought to trim. Yeah, I accidentally bought them and I regret them. Now I actually have to rehome them. So, if you want the golden gilded Thoth or a completely trimmed large Thoth, let me know. We can work something out. I'm trying to buy a maximum of 4 new decks this year. That is not a lot. I get tempted every so often. You know, I was looking at the Night Veil Tarot. Looks cool, but it probably wouldn't be a staple in my collection, and I think this one will. Without further ado, it's the Crow's Magic Tarot. And I was actually talking about this very deck, this oddball of a deck, in my Elemental Tarot video. This one is out of print, and it goes for crazy high prices on eBay. I actually really didn't expect that I was going to be able to find this deck so quickly this year. I was hoping it was going to happen this year, but here it is. I didn't open it yet. How it happened is that I was looking on Instagram and I saw someone posting pictures of this deck, and this person was in Holland, like I am. So I asked about the deck. And I said, wow, you actually have the Crow's Magic Tarot. Do you enjoy working with it? And also, you know, long shot, but I did ask, how did you get this deck? Did you get it long ago? Or is there maybe somehow, somewhere, an address where they still sell these decks? Apart from, you know, eBay and Amazon and all those $300 price tags. Basically, the answer was she bought it when she was a lot younger, also when her taste was different, when her taste of decks was different. She's still working with it a little bit, but not really feeling it. And she actually saw the Elemental Tarot video where I mentioned this deck, that I was looking for it, that it was on my wish list, and that I couldn't really explain it because I'm not into computer art. I actually think this deck is but ugly, no offense, but it's just one of those really kind of ugliest decks I've ever seen that I absolutely need to work with. It had crossed her mind to send me a message, but the decks that I had up for trade weren't really what she was looking for either, so she didn't. Apparently it was meant to be, because basically we came to an agreement where I would just buy the deck from her. And thank you so much, Ellen, for selling me this deck for an incredibly reasonable price. You have no idea how much that is appreciated. You are wonderful. She also put a card, a very sweet, dreamy card. It's funny what she put in the back. She said, "Hi Anna, lots of fun with this set. I hope it suits you better than it suited me." So thank you so much, Ellen. And yeah, I already mentioned that this art style is not at all what I love. And it's the weirdest of the weirdest. Again, ugliest. Every time I say ugly, I don't really actually mean it. I think that there's something inexplainable that draws me in. This is a deck from, is there a little booklet? Let's start with a teaser, little booklet. Wow, that looks brand new. Crow's Magic Tarot by Londa Marks. Magic spelled with a K in the end, the way that we like it. By US Games. So this is second printing, copyright 1998. I've deliberately not seen all the cards because there are some walkthroughs of this deck online. So most of the deck is still a surprise to me. But I have looked up some reviews or people talking about this deck. And apparently a lot of people called it weird or dark. But the people who have it also see the very vibrant colors and say that it doesn't feel dark. So I'm interested in how this deck feels to me. They also said it was shamanistic, so I don't exactly know how that comes through in this deck, but it is of course mainly animal-based deck. At the time that it was released, a lot of people didn't really enjoy, at least in the forums that I read the reviews, a lot of people didn't really like the fact that it wasn't Rider-Waite-Smith based, that it was a pip deck. It's not a Marseille either, it's a pip deck. And to me, that doesn't bother me. I work with pip decks and I really do love Marseille, so that kind of actually frees, it kind of opens up the mind as well. And I have a feeling that this is just such a weird one that it's definitely going to be an intuitive deck. I received this deck 2 or 3 weeks ago now, and I haven't looked at the cards yet. I just put it in my windowsill, left it there for that time in the sun, in the April sun, just waiting for it to be opened at Beltane. It just felt like this is a present to myself, and it makes it more special, and it also kind of makes the, you know, when you think of the Wheel of the Year, you have Imolc, you have Beltane, then where the next 2 decks are going to be opened, it's gonna be, I'm gonna be finished at I think Mabon or Samhain. Actually, Samhain probably is gonna be hopefully the last deck that I open this year of the essential wish list that I have. That wish list still can change, but these decks have been on the wish list for so long that, you know, it would be nice to finally be able to work with those decks. There's something that I only discovered a few years ago, where Samhain is, of course, the opposite of Beltane. You could easily, in the Wheel of the Year, trace a straight line between Samhain and Beltane. And Samhain, we always say that the veil is thin at Samhain. Between, we're talking about, in that case, between the world of the living and the world of the dead. And actually at Beltane, the veil is thin as well. But then we're actually talking about the Fae. And I don't work with that, but I do feel that there is that, that bubbling energy coming from nature. And even now with the rain, it just, there's so much more going on. There are these little plants and animals that are coming back, and it's just such a magical time. And even though it's stormy weather, actually it's quite perfect to be opening a deck like this. Alright. Oh, she put them in order. Thank you. Oh, there's a bow. I'll be able to shuffle that out of that, I'm sure. Oh, I thought, what? No copyright on US Games cards, but yes, there is. But it's quite subtle. These are the backs. And honestly, this looks like a brand new deck apart from the bow. I've received bowed cards before. Just takes a few shuffles to get it out, or maybe a few nights underneath some heavy books. Wow, they're nice. This is so weird. I do like it though. This is also a deck that has keywords. There are so many things wrong with this deck. Why do I like it? Can someone explain it to me? It's not just about the crows. I was talking about working with crow energy, and a lot of people, thank you for thinking along, a lot of people actually suggested the Crow Tarot. And I looked it up, and it's nice. It's a Rider-Waite-Smith clone. But, you know, it doesn't have that energy that I feel I need to work with. I feel that this deck actually has that energy. This deck also, I feel, has a little bit of somehow faint serpent fire tarot energy, which I was definitely tempted by, but then didn't get, there's a lot of lens flares and also collage-y, but oh wow, okay, this is so weird. But somewhere in the back of my mind, I was still thinking about this Crow's Magic Tarot, because it had a similar, somewhat feel, but this was the older version. So this is all types of strange, right? Because you have different types of birds and even other animals, you'll see, and also these strange shapes. So there is also that spacey feel, and perhaps alien, and all the subconscious strange dreamland, makes no sense, planets, trying to find your way in this very weird place. Some people online called it, if you like Londa Mark's artwork, because she also has another deck, if you like Londa Mark's artwork, this is the deck if you're into goth things. And yes, I like dark or muted colored decks, but what? I am actually starting to question my taste. Justice, you know what? I love this. Anyway, they were saying that this was a deck for goth tarot readers, so guess the cat's out of the bag, I'm a goth. See how this is a mixture of so many weird things? It's the bird, it's the space, it's the alien UFO type thing. It's also, there's a velociraptor. Are we like moving through time or something? Because that's an interesting concept. Ooh, this is nice. See, some cards are better than others. Transcend, evolve. So I think I can actually work with some of these keywords. Because in this deck I kind of feel that they are keywords. It's not like in the Thoth, even though we call them keywords in the Thoth. They're much more titles, and there is a difference. I called them keywords in the past as well, but I'm now convinced that they are titles. This is yeah, all kinds of strange again, but I kind of love it. This deck is giving me that feeling where perhaps I'm in a completely dark space, but there's one thin beam of light. And these birds or other types of animals or things or entities, they flash by, they fly right through it. And you know how that works, where you have a thin beam of light right in front of you and the rest is dark, and the animal goes through it? It's kind of like the animal lights up. Chemistry for temperance and fusion. They're not only crows, as you can see, there are eagles and other animals and even a person in the chariot. Oh, I do love this blue for the moon. The sun. Okay, judgment. There's a cosmic door, and then the universe. It's kind of like, oh, it's very pippish. It's nice. It's kind of like the Tarot Illuminati that Kelly Bear has. She also actually doesn't really like that artwork, but she just cannot put down that deck. What? Were they actually making an ad on the 8 of Coins? It says on the books, look at that, it says Londa Tarot by Londa Marks, Edgar Allan Poe. But then it said Tarot of the Witches by Stuart Kaplan, Crow's Magic by Londa Marks, Medicine Cards, Encyclopedia of Tarot, Stuart R. Kaplan. How dare they? Well, maybe it's just their works, right? I kind of hate that butterfly. I'll have to work with it, right? Isn't that what we're saying? If you don't like a card, you have to work with it. What do you think? You think I'm crazy for still liking it? The swords are interesting. I actually think that a good way to start understanding this deck is to use my own 78 spread method. So I'll have a spread to understand the cards better. Because there is a problem. Now I totally need the book, don't I? It's there is this big guidebook that is, of course, also out of print. That also goes for astronomically high prices. Honestly, I still don't know what I'm thinking. I still don't know what I was thinking. There are some interesting shapes, though, right? There is something happening. It is evocative. Once you get into it. And it's just so trippy sometimes. Maybe that's how I should look at this deck. It's not necessarily computer, it's not necessarily alien or in space, and it doesn't make sense. That's the whole point. I kind of love this guy. Unearthly, mystical Page of Cups. Look at that, the Queen of Cups, Shaman Enchanter, and then her insides are, I don't know what they are, but they look like things that you could hallucinate. Okay, here's the title card. Printed in Belgium. That's why it's thin yet sturdy cardstock. And there's another title card. Crow's Magic Tarot is a place of dreaming and of visions, of finding answers and directions. Travel to another world and time while discovering treasures and unearthing omens. See what you have always wanted to see. Meet creatures who are sages, diviners, shamans, and enchanters. Most of all, experience the crow's magic. I think it's cool, and I'm not going to trim it or anything. I like borders, and I think they actually look pretty good, you know? Even though they are white on a dark deck, they just frame the card. I kind of like larger cards. Standard tarot size is kind of like the smallest card size that I truly enjoy working with. Okay, so some of these, you can see that in here, some of this artwork is absolutely, completely computer. Actually everything, but then you can see here the eagle. Yeah, the eagle is much more cartoon style, and that is a part that I could do without, but maybe that just also kind of works as a 3D effect, you know. There's like this overly pixelated, I'm not saying it's pixelated, but like I'm thinking about what it would be like in a vision or in a dream. Something is right in front of you and it's way too high definition to be actually real. It's kind of like that effect that some trees around here have when the colors of the leaves start to change. They kind of are like hyper reality when they're actually really there. It's kind of like this hyper reality thing right in your face, and then everything in the background is further away and a little bit distant and blurry, a little bit blurrier. I get that not a lot of people will understand how I can possibly work with this atrocity, but I have a feeling that we will get along just fine. Also, I wanted to mention that the 78 spreads method that I came up with, in my mind it was mostly for Rider-Waite-Smith decks or Rider-Waite-Smith based decks, but actually quite a lot of people came forward and said, hey, I'm going to use this on a deck that I have not been able to connect to, or that I don't know yet, or that is completely strange. And actually I think that I'm gonna I'm gonna use that for this as well. And I thought that was amazing that when you come up with something, you share it, and other people kind of elevate it and make it better, make it even bigger. I think that's cool. Let me see, because I didn't actually read anything out loud. First, they explain a little bit about what crows appear to be. Crows are enchanting and mysterious. Upon entering the crow's magical kingdom, you will see human forms with the heads of animals or birds. Strange planets and Empyrean worlds merge with wildlife, cyber, and geometric spirits. An owl with metallic feathers navigates through blazing silver swords. Spiders and dragons rule. Wolves howl and bears claim victory. Colored bricks and blocks burst out of the black galactic and replace clouds. The crow is king. You feel their magic, and in your sleep, they become the architects of your dreams. I do feel that. Let's just see what they say, for instance. Four of Swords. Vacation, rest, wonder, designing inner peace. Kind of standard, I guess. Of course, at the back there's the Celtic cross spread. The spread we all use daily. Let me see. I saw something online as well. Crow's Magic Tarot by Londa Marks is designed to capture the place of dreaming and visions, which is the world of the crow. So each card gives 2 keyword definitions as well as some astrological correspondences signs, although these are not explained in the text, so probably not in the large book either. I'm gonna have fun with this deck. See what it can do for me. Just gonna shuffle it the other way for a bit. And then just get 1 card. Wouldn't it be nice, though, to want decks that are readily available and not out of print? But I'm so lucky, though, to have found 2 decks this year that I thought would be on my wish list for a much longer time. So I think that is really cool. This is a deck you don't often see, that's for sure. I don't even know how I came across it. Actually, probably while looking up tarot with crows. And as I said, the crow tarot that everyone's enjoying so much at the moment doesn't feel right for me. I really needed a deck that is my own version of the Tarot Illuminati. All of these animals in this deck are wild, right? I kind of like that too. Please also, I hope you're able to take it with a grain of salt every time I'm basically insulting the artwork on this deck. What am I asking? I'm asking what this deck has to tell me today. The Ace of Cups, Rapture, Ecstasy. Yeah, maybe open up a little bit more. Because I am feeling a little bit, I have a lot of things to do and some other videos I want to make and all that. That noise in the head when actually it's just all about feeling good and starting the day fresh. Yeah, maybe making it a little bit more about being calm in the mind, being calm in the body, and letting things come in, more like receptivity. And it's about sharing that love. That does give a certain type of freedom, right? Like the birds flying off in all different directions. There's just a much bigger chance that if I feel good, the people around me feel good, and therefore we are all just a little bit happier and feel better in our own skins, and isn't that what we all want? In any sort of situation. I can imagine with this that there's a lot of movement in the sky back there, where there's black and an almost type of green, and then some shimmering, I don't know what that is, in that bottom right corner, with the red clouds, of course, there, or smoke could be even. Also, all of these crows kind of look golden, right? So I can imagine that as they fly off, they all have that little bling, that little ching effect that blinds for a second. And actually that's kind of a sign of wake up. Acknowledge that you can do something good today. Acknowledge that you can share happiness today. I honestly don't know what else to say. Thank you, Ellen, for selling me this deck. I'm extremely thankful for having found this deck so quickly after the video where I first mentioned it. Please let me know, what do you think of this deck? What do you think of this artwork? Do you have the deck? Because I hardly ever see this. Okay, anyway, I'll see you in the next one.